My name is Jason, and this is Just Watches. Now, I'm late to the game on this one, but I'm really impressed by this San Martin. They are becoming my Homage brand of choice, and today's no exception. Now, today we have the San Martin Homage to the Tudor you-know-what. I wanted this watch for a while, but waited for a nice sale to pop up from San Martin before nabbing one, which is something I always suggest when shopping from the brand. Now, before we get to the review, if you're enjoying the contents of this channel, I invite you to subscribe, and if you like the contents of this individual video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much. For price and availability, this watch is available from a variety of retailers and runs around $200 depending on what coupons are available at the time. The case is 39mm in diameter, 47 lug to lug. It's about 13mm thick and then has a 20mm lug width opening. Now, size for my 6 3/4 inch wrist, it weighs in at 141 grams. Now, the case is mostly brushed with a high polished chamfer on the top of the mid case that flows into the lugs and the crown guards. The brushing is consistent throughout, including into the solid end links, which fit perfectly flush to the case and have close to zero play with the head of the watch. The case is quite flat, but the 47mm lug to lug length is very forgiving for smaller wrists, and thankfully the end links are negative and don't extend past the ends of the case, so 47mm is the true lug to lug on this one. Finally, despite being 13mm thick, I think it appears slightly thinner, especially on the wrist. The stock bracelet starts at 20mm at the solid end links and has a 4mm taper down to 16 before jumping back up to 18mm at the clasp. Now, I absolutely love a 4mm taper on a bracelet. It helps the bracelet just feel less bulky overall. The articulation against the back of the watch and between the links is excellent, two factors that play heavily into how comfortable a bracelet will wear. The links are brushed on the top with high polish on the sides. Now, the clasp is quite long, but there is a reason for that. It is mostly brushed with high polish chamfers down the sides and an applied San Martin logo. Now, the double pushers reveal a fully milled scissor and a quick adjust system. The action on the quick adjust is chunky and not really refined, but it works just fine and offers 10 to 12mm of adjustment on the fly. Finally, sizing is accomplished with screws, and San Martin provides a screwdriver that is the perfect size for the task. The bracelet is comfortable. The finish on the case and bracelet can be a touch sharp on the edges, but I found the watch comfortable to wear throughout the day on the stock bracelet, and that quick adjustment comes in very handy. This watch is powered by the Seiko NH35. It's a hacking hand-winding 21,600 vibration per hour movement with a 42-hour power reserve and a stated accuracy of -20 to +40 seconds a day, but on average I usually find they run closer to plus or minus 10 seconds a day. It also features a quick set date, but there's no date aperture on this variant, so you will have a ghost position on the no date version. If you get the date version, of course, then you'll be able to use the date. As you can see, this one is running between -1 and -2 seconds a day in the dial up position, and between -7 and -9 with the crown up. The 6.5mm screw down crown is nicely knurled and signed with the San Martin logo. The larger size of this crown makes it easy to access despite the crown guards. The threading and unthreading action is smooth. It is easy to wind and operate the watch with this crown, and I always like seeing a signed crown. The sapphire crystal is very slightly domed and rises ever so slightly above the bezel. It has also been treated with an anti-reflective coating. The AR coating is decent, but honestly it's just really nice to see sapphire and an AR coating at this price point. The 120 click unidirectional bezel is nicely knurled, and the action is very tactile and consistent. Additionally, everything lines up nicely at 12. The insert is a lovely matte ceramic that perfectly matches the dial. The first 15 minutes are marked with dashes, with alternating dashes and Arabic numerals for the remaining 5-minute designations. The bezel is also fully lumed. The dial is an excellent matte black that is actually framed by a 2-part chapter ring. The first section has dashes for each of the minutes, while the second section has cutouts for the indices and adds a bowl effect and a ton of dimensionality to the dial overall. They make a version of this watch without that chapter ring framing the indices, but I greatly prefer this version. The applied indices are a stark white and then filled with lume. The contrast and dimensionality really help them pop off the dial. Then we have San Martin at 12, automatic and depth rating at 6. This is the no date version, so the dial is incredibly symmetrical, and overall I feel this no date version is very clean and very legible. The hands are edged in white and filled with lume, but black at the hand stack. The minute hand is plenty long, reaching over the lower section of the chapter ring all the way to the dashes on that upper section. The second hand is also mostly white except black at the hand stack, with a short counterbalance and then a lume section towards the tip. Just like the indices, these hands really pop against the matte black dial and help this watch be incredibly legible overall. The lume is quite solid here with the nice blue hue. The bezel is also lumed. It's not quite Seiko level lume, but San Martin does a great job with lume on their dive watches. Here is the watch on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. Those negative end links and that short 47mm lug to lug distance really help this one wear well despite how flat the case is. You can see how flat it is from the side, but I think it wears nicely on my wrist overall. Pros and cons, starting with the pros. First, it's absolutely incredible what $200 can get you these days from a brand like San Martin. Before, you might expect sapphire crystal and a ceramic bezel at this point, but now you're even getting that quick adjust bracelet. Second, the watch has great bezel action and everything lines up perfectly on this one, not something that you always get even from brands like Seiko. Third, I love larger crowns and this one is really nice. Operating and winding the watch is a pleasure with this one. As for cons, this is an homage, so depending on how you feel about those, you may or may not like this watch. Second, I would have preferred if they used the NH38 movement on the no date variants just to eliminate that ghost position. It's a small detail, but it's a nice to have. As for comparables, it's a little bit difficult just because as far as price for value, San Martin's packing a lot into this watch. If you want something that's less of an homage, I will have a review of the Notice Sector Deep coming out soon. And then if you want something that's more a traditional Swiss-made watch, check out my review of the 38mm Certina DS. So there you have it. What do you think of this homage from San Martin? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, if you're enjoying the contents of this channel, I invite you to subscribe, and if you like the contents of this individual video, please give it a thumbs up. That's all for this time. My name is Jason, and you have been watching Just Watches.